Good evening, good evening, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you might be, wherever you're watching from. Alright, so it is week 3 of the VPL. Week 2's just ended. Also, I noticed Miles, thanks for the Prime. Much appreciated. Alright, so we've got something special for you today. Courtesy of Charlie of the Dino Bozos. We have a week 2 recap from a captain's point of view. So that's what we're going to be watching first, before we get into anything else. It is apparently a massive call-out post. So yeah, let's take a look at this. Let me just set this up to look at YouTube. Alright, let's go. Make sure the volume's up. Alright, here we go.
I took all of my Worlds players on my team off for this week, and then we lost horribly. Let me tell you how it went. We were going against the Neighborhood Watch, led by GG Mr. Rogers, a very prolific commentator for Bureau and Worlds for Vanguard, and he's a really chill guy. Unfortunately, this chill guy chose some pretty good players on his team. For example, Starling, Gurguet-san, Kisamat, Yami0, etc. Like, his team's pretty good, honestly. I can't lie. I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna take the first 2 weeks easy. I want to gauge everybody's abilities, see where we're all at. But that involves taking off the World's players from my team for this week, so that I can see what everybody is capable of. And apparently that was the wrong move if I wanted a flawless record, because hot damn did they beat us up this week. Now, the things that cost us our games wasn't the matchups or, you know, how good our opponent was or sacking. It was actually just ourselves. You thought I was gonna roll a montage or go on about my matches or something. Nah. Yeah, we just went 4-6, but I do have a highlight for you. It was Yotsu Bro on Spino Marquee versus Yami0 on Direful Dolls. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dolls? That's pretty bad for Spino Marquee. Dolls is pretty good this format. And to that, yes, you are correct. However, this Dolls player bricked. So we had a chance going into this match. And Yotsu Bro clutching it out on the very last turn he had. Yami0 2 passing the Vanguard with 1 PG in hand and OT. No heals left in deck at 4 damage. Yotsu Bro first check. It's the critical trigger.
Oh boy, he goes all in, doesn't he?
Says, we don't have any other way to win. All effects ban. Second check.
Let's go. Ooh.
And with that, the game was sealed. We got our first Spino Marquee win of the league. And kudos to Deck Player for making a matchup spreadsheet so that we could measure each deck's win rate and how they fared into other decks. And this resulted in Spino Marquee having the very first win of this league and having 100% win rate. That's gotta be a moment right there. You know, I'll take that for losing. Because you know what's gonna happen within the next week? Next week, we pair into Deck Player's Rebirth. I'm coming for you, Gwen. We already bantered a bit in our DMs. We already talked about our team positioning. You know, we match fix a little bit to get some grudge matches here and there. Or we're gonna beat your team up. Nothing's going to stop us. Because this week, I'm not holding back my Worlds players. I'm putting all of them on the front lines. And you're not going to be able to do a single thing about it, because all you did was draft Opers. I hope you enjoy this next week. I hope you find some form of solace to help you cope throughout this next week. Because I assure you, you're not getting any from us. Good luck. If you haven't already, make sure to follow Zistral.
Bro, what I fucking love about this, like, this entire call out is that Charlie is like the nicest guy with like the softest voice. Like, everything about his manner is like his manner, like his aura, his like the way he just presents, like the way he is as a person, just doesn't lend himself to this sort of trash talk. Is the best fucking part. It's like, you know, it's like the fucking, you know, like that round, like smooth SpongeBob meme. It's literally to that, like, but he's saying like all this, you know, like flaming shit. It's incredible.
Because he's the one who's going to be streaming some VPL games. But otherwise, better watch out, Gwen. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of these results, shall we? All right, let's zoom in. So, week 2. Crow's Nest versus Shiny Cobble Prediction. I believe Crow's Nest won that. No, it's a draw, 5-5. So, yeah, some interesting, you know, upsets there. Like, a few expecting, you know, like Sergio, good player, won. Kuro, good player, won. But then we have Victor, Mr. Reverse Ace. Man, what happened, bro? What happened, bro? And then, yeah, this is a match that we'll be covering in a moment. Apparently, it was quite an intense game, so I'm looking forward to that. Let me replay. Put this back on. Forge Freaks versus Top Deck Sidekicks. I believe that's another Forge Freaks win. Oh, it was another draw as well. Okay. So, yeah, you know, good play on the team winning. Sutere, Franz. Some decent plays there, nothing special. I think we have a game from them to watch as well. Deck Players Rebirth versus the Owl Coop. This is apparently one of the few like big matches coming up. So yeah, we had the first Captain Showdown. So Gwen beat Utman in what I can only assume was the most toxic flame in existence. But despite the Captain winning, their team was not able to pull through, unfortunately. Then you've got Mash versus the Spreadsheet Seekers. Another draw. Managed narrowly, could have won that. Very, very close to winning. Very, very close to winning, but a few unfortunate drops here and there. So Mash took out Demios. Toby versus Nuno. That's, you know, big like clash of the titans there. Two of the best players in the world. We had Michael Winley, Mr. Morbius, upset by another local in the UK. Impressive. And then a few other games here and there. And then lastly, Dino Bozos versus the Neighborhood Watch, as we saw from Charlie. He ended up losing narrowly. You know, good players, unfortunately, couldn't win out. Starling couldn't win out. Just wasn't able to quite make it there. But yeah, these were some interesting games. I wasn't able to watch as many this week because I was busy with work. But I'm actually a few recordings down, so we'll take a look at those. But first, let's take a look at the Week 3's upcoming matchups. So, Shiny Cobble Prediction versus the Forge Freaks. Victor on his third week in a row, trying to get that redemption arc, the run back, up against Enza-sama. Hunter Surge versus Hazaret. Jeff Loldy versus Sutere. These two might swap over. I'm unsure. So I know Surge requested me in position 3, and I messed up when I was filling the sheet in, so they might swap. Unsure as of yet. Stay tuned. Fori versus Fahrenheit, another Captain's Mirror. So we just see how this works out. You know, will E-Girl Bathwater take out the former Standard World Champ? Spiteful Dunker versus Franz. The Bishop versus Kaminagi. Sergio versus Ramon. Kuroneko versus Tetre. Blue Cat versus Jamimon. And Lucius versus Ever Enchanted. We'll get to the grudge match in a moment. So, Mash versus Top Deck Sidekicks. You've got Bushy Matt versus Philip. That's going to be interesting. You know, two of the biggest people you've ever met in one room. Very much this town isn't big enough for the one of us energy in this matchup. Mash versus Trezef. Michael Winley versus Anna. Etan versus Ryuta-sama. Blaze Felix Isley. Morphin versus Princess Mona. White Howl versus Cardfight Prime. Dexcavate versus Tokoro. Julian Dreams Sunday. And Cardfighter 159 versus Naru Samurai. Then, Neighborhood Watch versus Spreadsheet Seekers. You've got JJ versus Demios. Gurgit versus Ali. Dylan's already lost to Wolfram, unfortunately. That was a very early play game. And it's quite funny because Dylan was like, oh guys, Wolfram's known for playing Zorga. I'm going to play Vermilion so I can bind his RPDs and counter it. And it just unfortunately did not work out for various reasons. I would have loved to see the Vermilion take the win. I really, really wanted to see that. But alas, this just wasn't meant to happen. So, Curly Head versus American Football. Rampant Wraith versus Gear Vibes. Sneeze versus Famous Living Dead. Radiant Prawn versus Nuno, Nobby versus Michael, Chase versus Mines, and Starling Says versus Find. It's going to be a good one. Now, on to the 2 grudge matches. You've got the Owl Coop versus Crow's Nest. This is an intense one. So, as we all know, Crow has been having some familial difficulties, but he's managed to clear things up, just free up a week. He's able to get in on the action, so we'll see him play, put his power down on the line versus X-Ray Man, Antaro versus Hajimari, BBXC versus Sagran, two veterans of the Vanguard community going head to head. That's going to be a good one to watch. Chicken Wing versus Super Kid Even, Nobnax versus Konoami, Relaxing Nats versus Nurgle Primarch, Ootman versus Scardies. This is gonna... Yep, that's going to be an interesting one to watch. I don't know if I'm going to be around to record that, but that's going to be another sort of... I'm trying to think how to describe it. You know that... what's that show with, like... Is it Larry David? Yeah, what's that Larry David show? Is it Curb Your Enthusiasm? It's like, you know that clip where it's like, fuck you and I'll see you on Tuesday. Like, this is the vibe I get from this matchup. Zero Avenger versus Asta, Grilled Cheese hates Shay, and then That Pizza versus Full Metal Swan. This one I know as well has intense, like, this is some intense fire here. So I really, really hope that I'm probably not gonna be around to watch it because they're both in the US, but I hope to God someone records it so that we can cover it next Sunday. I hope to God. And then the big, this is the, I don't know, Liverpool versus Everton of the VPL. I don't know American football well enough to give an American football example. It's like the Celtics versus the Rangers for Scottish people who like football. I don't know enough sports. I just don't know enough sports. But this is the match to watch out for this week. So we've got Yotsubro versus Zanis. We've got Bailey versus Marzex. We've got GH Legend versus Styles. Gwen has already lost his game. So, yeah, the Overlord Cope just wasn't enough for this week, unfortunately. You've got Charlie versus Rex Flame. Oops, let me do that. Not quite, like two teams that... Not just two teams that hate each other. Two teams that... Like, two teams that were destined to hate each other, if that makes sense. Mass meme posting after Gwen lost. Check turn 3 offensive OT. And he still lost? Real. Wow. Ruben versus Megatrick. TSL Cobra versus Slasher. Adrian Barber versus Gashadokuro. Nicholas Hu versus Bry. And Zephytel versus Z-Winter. Half of our team waiting for set 2. Alright, bro. You have next week. Is it, no, week 5, I think, is actually when... Yeah, set 2 becomes legal week. So you have 2 more weeks. You just have to lose. You lose this week, you lose next week, and then you have the comeback. Trust. Second half, yeah, unfortunately, there's only 9 weeks. So, you're going to have to win from week 5 onwards non-stop. I'm sure you can do it. I mean, you know, your team is the coping experts, right? It's just that easy. Just that easy. So yeah, we've got 2 games already finished for week 3, but I'm not sure if anyone's scheduled to play tonight or not. I know that there's 2 people playing right now, but I think they're playing a private game or it's like... So that's... Yeah, Blaze Felix and Isley are playing right now, but obviously they're in a private table for a reason. I'm not just going to jump in and stream, so I'll leave them to their privacy. But like I said, we have some week 2 games to watch. So let's hop on over. Well, let me set up and then hop on over. Okay, so is this framed properly? Almost. Oh, it is framed properly. Incredible. Let's go. Oh, I forget how loud my notifications are. Oh, Steve, thank you for the follow. Hello, good to see you. Messiah Bidif, yeah, man. That was your game to win, bro. I wish I'd recorded that, but we did stream it, so I think it's okay. Alright. So, for the first game of week 2 we're going to be covering is Minono versus Starling. So we've got Minono on the left, Starling on the right. I don't remember what they were playing, but let's have a look, shall we? Okay. Skip ahead a little bit while they set up. Okay, first of all, you gotta respect the fucking fidget spinner on, like, the cut for the 3-2-1. Like, I respect that immediately already. Okay, they just finished, and... So yeah, like I said, Starling on Veleno, Minono on Mygo. Going first as Veleno is always really good. And Minono is going to call to the back row middle. So he wants to boost the Vanguard. I think that's fine. I think if you're against Veleno, given how well that deck tanks up and defends, I almost want to consider like calling it to the front row. Just so you can like just have 2 attacks early. Like you lose the soul in the draw, but I think getting that early offensive pressure is really important against Veleno. Hate the AA game plan? Yeah, I kind of agree. I think like usually I don't like it either, but in some cases, like especially in like a matchup like this, I think you have to. Because the other thing as well, like in this sort of matchup, I think the early anon isn't that important. So nothing doing, various searches. I think playing with no counterblast is fine. Because like you don't need the anon early. Because you will just outgrind them by like I think in this matchup, you don't actually need the grade 3 song. You can just spam the grade 2 song forever. Because the other important thing is that they'll have the crit pressure that you don't. Because, like, using the, what's her name? Using Soyo is irrelevant, because the guard trick does nothing against blitz orders. So you're not really using the soul on much. So you're trying to, like, once the game gets to, like, the mid to late game, you're winning through attrition rather than winning through like some big burst. Because no matter like, unless you hit super crazy triggers, the blitz orders plus 20k shield, that's always gonna be enough to guard the anon column. And I think it's like, unless you persona ride and plus 5k from the Soyo on place, it's a 1 to pass on the Rana column as well. So it's like the chance of you actually like breaking through like in one big swing is super low. So I'd rather just like take the War of Attrition, like chip 1 damage here and there wherever you can, and then just more comfortably guard the other swings. Like, you know, take the crit Vanguard, use your 10k shields, reanimate your 10k shields, and then go from there. I think that's the better line. But we'll see if he has... So yeah, go straight into the anon call. So Minono, unfortunately, not having the combo there. Finds a Taki, which is useful. It's the better target to hit here. Makes a full board, which I think is very, very greedy. I do like the plus 5k to Vanda. I think that one makes sense. You can go straight for the grade 2 order. So I think... I'm not sure about his build, but he's doing it like this. This implies to me that he's not on 4 Haruhikage, and he's on 4 copies of Hikten Banso. which implies that this. So that's why maybe like not going for the 2 swings on turn 1 is a safer line there, because he knows that he's got 4 copies of the grade 2 song, so he's more likely to be able to push on this grade 2 instead. Which is why I think in that case, calling the grade 1 behind the Vanguard column is fine. I'm just of the opinion that 4 grade 1 songs is better, as opposed to playing 4 grade 2 songs. Okay, he's going to commit the full everything here. We'll see how much damage Starling takes at the end of this turn. I expect it's going to only be 1 or 2. Takes 1. Probably guards the Anon column. It's only 18. Takes the second. Interesting. And then 15 with Vanguard. I would have thought about guarding the Anon column, because this one's awkward to guard, because it's 15 into 10. But yeah, we're just going to use Dreamblade there for OT pass, which does not get broken. And then the last column, take the 3rd damage, or are we going to see another guard coming down here? Ooh, we're going to take the damage. That's brutal. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. This guy's a Nectar to ride. I think Starling is like... They definitely need to make a board right here, right now, or the game ends, I think. Because when you're at 5 damage, everything I've just said has just gone out the window. About how, like, Mygo wants to pace this matchup. If your opponent's on 5 damage, you will just slam grade 3 song and just non-stop balls to the wall. And you know that Starling's already burned 1 copy of the grade 2 Blitz? Oh, she's burned 2 actually, because she just got one for a ride deck, it seems. But yeah, she's got the order to add them back. Yeah, she's built up the defenses now, but the idea is that on 5 damage, it's much harder for Veleno to constantly be rebuilding, especially losing like that grade 1, which is currently in the damage zone. Makes 2 copies of the grade 3 Restander, does have the counterblast for it, but Minono's only on 1 damage, and doesn't make any more body, so no crit on Veleno. That is brutal. Takes the 2nd damage, maybe? Oh, guards aggressively. So only 4 cards in hand for Minono. 2 of which we know from the drive checks. Oh, sorry, 1 of which we know from the drive check, which is the crit. So yeah, going in with the Veleno. Stan and crit. Very good twin drives. Gets a lot of shield coming in. 2 damage goes in, and no defensives. In fact, 2 really important cards for Minono. The grade 3 song and the Persona Ride. But yeah, the grade 3 being grade 3 locked means that it's only 3 attacks. Very unfortunate here. Starling not able to recoup the offensive pressure. Meanwhile, Minono has the 2 counterblasts they need to get full combo off of the Anon. We'll see the crit discard for ride. So yeah, it's really simple from this point on now. Depending on which other pieces he's seen, he can Soul Blast 1 to call 2 back from the bind zone. One of them being Anon. Anon find the last piece, and then Counterblast 1 for Vanguard to go into the grade 3 song. There should still be 1 left in the deck, unless it's in hand. And then just go full combo from here on out. I mean, Starling does have quite a few cards in their hand. Like, there's 2 Blitzers, and let's have a count here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in hand. I think 8 cards in hand can definitely survive. Can definitely survive a full grade 3 turn. It should be doable, especially with 2 triggers as well. So we're going to Energy Blast 7 to draw first, which I don't like, because So, sequencing here, I think it's correct to counterblast 1 to play a music off of the Vanguard effect first, because then you eliminate the chance of drawing the music as well. Because obviously, if you counterblast Energy Blast 7 to draw, and you draw the music you want to play, you've lost the ability to counterblast 1 to deck then. But yeah, then we're going to solve... Here's another thing I don't like though. Soul Blast 1 to call before playing the music also feels really, really not right. Because, like, if you're gonna... Okay, he ends up not calling the Anon here. He calls the Rana and the Taki. Because he has the Anon in hand. But, like, if you were going to... I still think you want to counterblast 1 to get the music before you do anything else. So that you can guarantee the increased chances of, like, drawing a better card or the Anon top type hitting better. Can it do through two guard restricts? Yeah, like, you just blitz order. You just blitz order the guard restricts. It's that easy. Because here's the thing, right? Assuming that Mino no uses the guard restrict on both attacks, the first one is only, what? 23... 28, assuming the 5k goes to the Rana. So it's 28, then 38 before triggers. Like, 28 is, like, definitely blitz order material. And 38 is blitz order plus... defensive, or no, if no defensive, just 2 blitz orders. Like, it's totally fine. Yeah, like, that's fair as well, but at the same time, he knows, like, which piece he's seen. Like, he's got all of them out. So I think if here he's not even counterbusting one for Anon, which I think is fine. But another really relevant thing is, like, counting how many Takis are out of the deck, counting how many runners are out of the deck. I think if he had counted that and was willing to take the gamble, he could have gone for, like, the Rana and the Anon, or the Anon Taki, and then used the Anon to find the Rana. I think, like, depending on what's in his hand, what's in his damage, I think that was a reasonable gamble to take. But yeah, like, if you miss the Anon, then you don't want to play the grade 3 music, that's fine. But I think he actually ends up playing the grade 3 music from hand, right? No, he plays it from drop, yeah, so... Okay, so in this case, one's in the damage, one's in the drop. So none of them were in the deck in the first place. That's totally fine. But then in that case, if the grade 3 music isn't in drop or deck, I would 100% have gone Anon first to see if you can Anon for the last piece, because then that saves you having to call the Anon from hand, and it takes another normal unit out of the deck. And then if you don't find the 5th piece you need, you can then counterblast on Vanguard to search for the grade 2 music instead. Like, again, like, when your opponent's on 5 damage, you want to try and, like, maximize the pressure you're putting on. And I think improving the chance of hitting triggers is how you do that. But yeah, I think the game doesn't go past this turn, if I'm right. So Dreamblade comes down. I would have liked to have saved it for this swing, in case Mino no chooses to Soul Blast. And I think with only 3 soul, he's choosing not to. Because he's planning for next turn, and then God Restrict on the next turn as well. So yeah, no God Restrict comes down, which makes this front trigger to pop. So now Starling... Oh, he does gonna Soul Blast. Okay. So now Starling has to use the other Dream Blade. There it is. Now, unfortunately, going first means that Veleno does not have the energy to use any more, which is a little bit unfortunate. Which means that the God Restrict on the second swing with the Soyo Rana is going to be probably lethal. But yeah, we're gonna have to see a PG on this one before anything else. Or we could see a greedy 2 to pass. This is only a 13k swing. And then the rear guard's going to become like, what, 28? 38? No, 43. See, I think a 2 to pass here is fine. Because you need to conserve the pieces to guard everything else. Hannah's like 10 cards. I think it was like 8 we counted when she was flicking through them. It's just a case of, like, she drew cards off of the Veleno effect on top. That's actually going to be an OT to pass. Heal doesn't go off. Power to the Anon, probably. Yep. Second trigger, nothing. 2 to pass is no go in this league. Nah, 2 to pass would have blocked that, bro. She would have had an extra 15k shield in hand. And then, yeah, plus another 5k, plus another 5k again. That's actually the incorrect number. Because Rana's 5k stacks. So that would have been 20, 30, 38. Yeah, 43. There we go. So that's the right number now. 43 is 25k to... No, 35k to guard. Which is front and trigger. So yeah, if she had kept that extra heal, this would have been an easy guard, and then the anon would have been an easy guard on top. But the way it's looking now, like, it's looking she's going to have to drop 3 cards, like PG and something else, and then discard for the PG. Nope, she just drops 2 fronts, which is slightly ineffective. The 1 check, auto rear, which is totally understandable. And then this is what, 40, 48. Which is safe PG territory, probably. Nope, this is more triggers. So seeing, like, what, 6 triggers being guarded with that turn implies that, yeah, Starling's hand was a bit of a brick this game, which is super unfortunate. Well, on the plus side, she's probably kept the Persona Ride as the last card in hand. There it is. She's got all the counterblast in the world. 2 cards in hand. Can she make a board? If she can make a board, this turn actually becomes mega threatening. But it doesn't look like it. I think one of them is probably another order. And the second one might be a trigger. Yeah, so no extra board, no crit, no nothing. Just the Sunrise power on the restand is coming in. That is... So this turn went from being potential lethal onto Minono to being a guaranteed survival for Minono, which is definitely not the position you want to be in when you've fallen behind in the early game. Yeah, the numbers aren't great. No boost on top. We saw Nectar had to be discarded earlier for Ride Deck. Probably because she was keeping all the other triggers in hand. Like, even without any other boosters, Nectar at least would have been decent here in this match, like, on this turn right now. I think if you're Minono, yeah, you take the defensive, take this, pray for the defensive, which doesn't come through. And then you probably just take this one. I think there's, like, if you're, because now that you've taken the 4th, you can no longer, like, gamble on the Vanguard swing, you have to PG the Vanguard swing. And then you have to count on your opponent double critting and, like, crit on each rear guard. So yeah, take that second one, hope for the defensive, which again doesn't come through, but now you can just guard everything else really smooth. As long as she doesn't hit double front. I think this is just an easy PG. Nope, that's a 2 to pass, it looks like. 43, yeah, 43 to 28 is 2 to pass, which Nectar, a bit late, and a crit does not get broken. So, yeah, a little too late, I'm afraid. The crit doesn't do much. That would much rather have been a front. So this is what, 33? Yeah, so 33, which is super guardable. 43? Is it with the trigger? Oh, right, because that's the crit, yeah. So you want to hit the crit thing first. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so Minono also discarding a crap ton of triggers. So this last one's 33. Does he have tacky trigger? Just 2 triggers. Okay, wow. And so we know that the last card in Minono's hand is the Persona Ride that he added off of the top 7 off the ride line. So he's going to Persona Ride and draw. So now can Minono make the full board? I think, again, there's one of the scenarios where you probably want to, like, Soul Blast 1 to call out the Anon and see what happens before you commit to a music. You've seen 2 Sawyers out of the deck, 2 Tackies out of the deck. I think 3 Anons out of the deck? 2 or 3 at least. So banking on the Rana is probably safer here. Okay. I'm gonna try and bank on the Sawyer. I guess he really wants to chase grade 3, but yeah, he finds the Sawyer. despite there only being 2 left in the deck. And then Counterblast 1 to play the grade 3 song from the drop zone. I think the other brutal thing as well is that during the previous turn, Starling had no way of recovering the blitzes either, which obviously makes things really difficult to survive this turn on top. Like, Minono has virtually no cards in hand, but he's got that offensive pressure. And I think the only thing that'll save Starling at this point is a defensive OT. Which is possible, you know, never say never. I don't know if I like 5k on Nan on here. I think I would rather have seen 5k onto the Vanguard, just so that you can't go 2 triggers for a 2 to pass. Because this add-on column is already 28, which is a 20k shield to begin with, but yeah. Starling just says, nope, I'll just go for defensive OT, doesn't hit it, and that's it. So yeah, the difference between 28 and 33, I think, is really, really low. But the difference between 23 and 28 is, I think, really huge. But again, it did matter in the end. And yeah, Minono takes a win despite both players drawing really unfortunate. Alright, this is another, speaking of, let's move on to the next game, which is Radiant Prawn versus, this is not Radiant Prawn versus Steve Youth, this is Andre versus, I forget who he's against. Let's have a quick look at the spreadsheet, shall we? Week 2, Andre was against Bomb Pop King. So yeah, Andre's flexing the max rare Aurora. And we'll see what Bomb Pop King's running. The Grey Starter tells us nothing, but the Zest tells us everything. So, Aurora versus Youthberg. 2 Unga Bunga decks. And Youthberg gets to go first, which is a terrifying position to be in. Every time I've seen Youthberg go first in the last few weeks, it's always been turn 1, discard Carino, turn 2, drive check blue OT, add back the Carino, turn 3, discard Carino, have full blast straight away. So the fact that Bomb Pop King hasn't discarded Carino as the first action of the game, I think means that Andre's probably going to win now. Hits the Cycler on turn 1, which is great. Does the standard Roroa Rush, which Youthberg isn't very good into. So now the question is, does Bomb Pop King know to deny Roroa in the early game? Discards Biscotti. Does he know to attack the plant token? What does he find off the top 5? Finds a Witch. Solid. It's currently on 0 Revel Forms in Soul. Tempest goes in. Sequana comes down. Alright. Attack the plant. Attack the plant. Attack the plant. So, okay, he attacked Vanguard, but Andre got it anyway. So now this is the biggest attack the plant moment in the world. Attack the plant. No guard. Coming into the Vanguard. Do you check a crit at least? No, you find the full blast. 1 damage comes down. That's all Rowan needs to ruin your day. Second Cycler coming down. Crazy. Do we see it? Counterblast 1, Andre. No, he doesn't have the piece. Okay. So the greed was rewarded in this one instance. No trick, no guard, triggers. Finds the promo. Gets a defensive, which is very good. Alright, so the luck is... This is the Youthberg luck we're used to seeing. Discard Carino to find the last Revel Form piece. Nope, discards another Biscotti. Counterblast 1, add back the Biscotti. Or are we going to add back the Witch? Yeah, adding back the Witch. You need to dig for those Revel forms. The fact that he has no Carino is really brutal, though. Call the Witch, Soul Blast 1, find the Zest. Or if he's only got one Zest, that gets in the drop zone. Yep, so Zest from drop zone. Which means that now I guess he's relying on discard 1 for Youthberg, top 3, find a Corino. Discard like a trigger or something. Do we hit it? A second... No, he doesn't have the soul for a second Witch. Yikes. And it seems like there's no Carino coming down. Oh, has to call it PG, so... You know the other two cards were definitely triggers. So Full Blast is not live. Does he at least have the Tempest to go into? This is going to go straight into swinging. Yeah, only 2 forms in Soul, no Tempest. We know he's got the Full Blast in hand because he drove check it, but he's missing that third piece. Drive check crit, good start. I would have given power to the Perfect Guard, but okay. There's the Carino, just a little bit too late. 1 defensive coming in, and this is why I would have given power to the PG. Tempest comes down. Does he see triggers? No trigger seen. The tokens stay where they are. That's good though. It means he's going to drive check a trigger now, right? Surely? Yeah, I would have liked to see the trigger go onto the PG, because now see, now that I'm hit the defensive, you need to hit a front here. Because Vanguard doesn't even hit. Vanguard's only 18. Whereas the front makes all 3 columns hit. Like, if he doesn't see the front, then sure, that's just unfortunate. But, like, you know, you're Youthberg. You're the aggro deck. You need to be pushing, like... You need to take the risk to push. Because Youthberg doesn't have the hand to, like, you know, wait it out. Especially not against Rorwa's crazy combo turns. That's a no pass, it seems. Sequana doesn't get through. Hello, Aggro Chibi. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, this PG doesn't hit. Swings into a token. Whatever. And then 25k, which does hit, but it's only a 10k shield. Alright. So now that's the Tempest and Soul. So in Bomb Pop's defense, he's only on 1 damage. He can probably deal with most of Rorwa's big turn coming up. We know he's got the Full Blast still in hand. So it's not like he's like, you know... It's not like he's in bad position. Oh yeah, he's on 3 damage. He counter blasted 2, right. But like 3 damage is still fine, like, you know. He just has to perfect guard the Vanguard swing with a crit, and then guard the 2 Radlina swings, then he's fine. Guards the early token swing, because it's the smallest one, takes the Momoke swing, hits a defensive, hopefully, and then goes from there, right? So, set order, finds the Radlina. Counterblast 1, make the Momoke. Sack 3. Oh, it only sacks 2. Huh. And then superiorize with the promo. If you were only going to sack 2... If you're only going to sack 2 to the Momoke, wouldn't it have made more sense to sack first and then remake a board? Right? Or does the new Rora only make open Rearguard circles? Yeah, okay, so it does... Oh, I guess you would have called over the tokens anyway, so it wouldn't have made a huge difference. Yeah, I guess it's fair. Yeah, and I guess you can leave the booster for the Vanguard column, which is fine. And then Roro's plant tokens obviously have the draw a card effect. Yeah, Radalina copies the power. So there's one tiny token swing, big Vanguard swing, big Momoke swing, and then two biggish Radalina swings. Oh, my hay fever's really bad today. I literally woke up with my nose dripping. It was that bad. I do like going with the Vanguard first, but at the same time, like, I think there's an argument here because obviously he rode Grade 3 this turn, and there's no Persona Ride active from the Superior Ride. I would have considered you having the tokens go into the Interceptor, just so that you trade 5k shield for 5k shield. Like, I get the argument that you can hit a trigger and give the power to the token, and now it forces 10k shield. But like, considering the size of your Momoke columns and your Radalina columns to begin with, you're already forcing a lot of shield this turn. So I feel like getting rid of that 5k body on the board, which conversely also sends it to get rid of a 15k swinging stick, would maybe have been a little bit more value. Because also, like, you're incentivized to put all the triggers power on Momoke to begin with as well. So that, like, unless you hit a front, which I don't think he plays, that token column really doesn't do much. Whereas now, Bomb Pop King can like intercept with the Witch, guard a bit more aggressively, and then you're attacking a PG, which is irrelevant to begin with. But no, we're going to hard guard here. And then, yeah, intercept. So again, so now that token, unless Andre hits a trigger, that token's probably going to be swinging into the PG. Crit comes down, obviously Ultimate okay. Crit to Radalina. PG. So yeah, that token column is not doing anything. So this is a 35k Momoke, I think. So I think this one you definitely take. Because now you need to guard the Radalina with crit. And then, you know, if he has a second Radalina follow-up, you can take that one and go to 5. I think you definitely take at least this one, because you need a counter blast to activate full blast effect. So yeah, take this, guard the Radalina, take the other Radalina, and like go from there. Probably the best line. I don't like the fact that he's counting cards here. I think you just take the get for the defensive, right? No, we're guarding. Okay, guarding with Sequana as well it's certainly an option. Is he going to take the crit swing instead? Ugh. Gets the defensive, but I don't think it's going to help much. Because now here's the thing. Obviously, so Andre's going to follow up with the Grade 3 Radalina. But I think there was an argument to holding it here, because like you're putting it at the defensive, they're gonna go to full blast. You force them to like have this guard or whatever else. But the fact they got it incorrectly the first time, I think gives you room to like really punish their actions. But no, we're just gonna go for it. And yeah, okay, he just doesn't have enough guards to guard in hand. He just takes the damage, has nothing. What's his hand? 2 full blasts and a bunch of 5k shields. Yeah, like, I'm definitely not annoyed. I'm just pointing out the fact that, he probably didn't know that Roro had access to the 5th attack. He probably didn't know that Roro power, like, scales up and up and up more than anything else. But again, I think the fact to remember is, even without knowing what your opponent's deck does, you have to know that you're playing Youthberg. You have to know that you don't have real defensive power. Like, you have to know that you need to maximize the damage you can wherever you, like, the damage you take wherever you can. In that case, like, you still never want to take the 2 damage swing, because worst case scenario, even if Andre doesn't have that 5th attack, you take the 1 damage, go up, you can guard the second swing, which is sure a little bit bigger, but a little bit easier. Like, once you guard that, you're on 4 damage, you can then afford to take another attack next turn and hit play for the defensive again, right? Like, because you're playing for the next, you're playing assuming there's going to be a next turn. So if you're going to play assuming there is a next turn, you assume that there's going to be a turn after that. Because you can't assume then that the full blast is lethal. Especially not when your opponent's only on 3 and has a bunch of cards in their hand, like, plus the draw 2 from those tokens. So it's not really much you can do there. I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. I just don't think it was the best thing in the world for him to do. But yeah, that's gonna be a very, very quick game. But now this is the important matchup here. Oh, that's so huge. Oh, I need to rotate it back again. Oh, wrong way. Nope, wrong way again. Huh. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, this is the game that everyone wanted to watch. So this one needs to rotate that way. There we go. And then this needs to be a little bit bigger. I need to crop that a bit. Make that a little bit smaller. Alright, there we go. So, Hal on the left playing, I think, Rezael. And then Sage on the right playing, I assume, Zorga. It is indeed Zorga. Wow, what a surprise. Alright. Do we have... We've got the turn 1 Philander. Do we have the turn 1 Habitat on top? Drops an RPD? Or is that a Keel? I can't tell with the glare. Ooh! We find the Habitat. Habitat find another Habitat? Maybe? Dragon Tree Maker's also pretty good. I don't know what the other cards were. I can see a Mask. RPD comes out. No trigger. 15k. Defensive. Nope, guards this, and then, yeah, takes this one. Oh, I see Wisdom of the World. I think I see a Teeth Fault as well. Don't discard the dog. Don't discard the dog. Don't you had Teeth Fault and dog. You would have been so cracked. Teeth Fault, trigger, and I think grade 1. Finds a dog anyway. He's just that good. Finds 2 dogs. Whoa! Imagine being that talented. Alright, let's see if Wisdom of the World finds dog. If not, Teeth Fault top 5 will find dog, surely. 2 triggers. Not great. And then Soul Blast 1, find the second dog? Question mark? Second Teeth Fault is good. Yeah, can't complain about a second Teeth Fault, I think. Obviously, the Grey One would rather be behind the Vanguard, so you can get the counter charge and the plus 2k, but I'm sure he has a more. Yeah, you rush me, I'll rush you right back. $23, no guard. PG. Front defensive is great. Trigger and Teeth Fault, you take the... I think you take the Teeth Fault here. Right? Oh, he's taking the trigger. I mean, I get why. Like, you don't want to get RPD crit next turn. Does he have a Teeth Fault in hand? I don't think he... Oh, he does. Right, okay, yeah. So that's fine then, I guess. If he already had a second Teeth Fault. But, like, you've got 2 PGs in hand. I think, like, you're mostly okay, right? Like, you just PG both RPD columns, take the Vanguard column, and then deal with the Keel column somehow. You want to PG earlies? I don't know. I think in this matchup, it's fine to use Raziel's Divine Skill early on. Like, you just aggressively Divine Skill and then just, like, hope you skill check your opponent into a 6 damage crit heal out of the game. And just stabilize from there. I mean, the other option as well is to just, like, take all of this and then guard aggressively moving forward. I like the sound of double intercept here also, by the way. Yeah. Does she have 10 in drop? A little bit short, so Flan doesn't have the power. So yeah, you just take this, hope for no trigger. No trigger. And there's only 15k? Yeah, nice and easy. Spiral QT. Soul Blast 1 to draw first. And then remake Dog. Nobia, which I still don't like. Ooh, another dog. Pull the last dog out of the deck. Do it! Don't call the Nobia. The card sucks. Make the dog. You already have the Teeth Vault in hand. It's fine. Hal, please. I don't make the Biscotti. Make the dog. You have the Teeth Vault. Dog is correct. No, not the dog. Oh. Unfortunate. That was just such a shit counterblast one top 3. Imagine if you had just dogged. Like, who cares about Soul Blast 1 top 5? Who cares? It's Dog. Dog is broken. We know this. Don't swing with that first. Swing with the dog column first. Activate the dog and then remake the dog. That's the way to do it. Dog, wait, does it? 13, 23. No. 23 into 10 doesn't... Like, this is magic numbers because this gets plus 2k, but you want to save the magic numbers column for after the trigger checks, because then the crit becomes much more dangerous. Like, this would have been what, 23, and then Vanguard swings, remakes the Teeth Vault dog column. No, it's 2k and then it's other way around. It's the grade 1 gains 2k and then 5k if you ditch. I'm pretty sure, isn't it? Other way? Are you for real? Oh shit, it is the other way. Wow. Wow, card sucks! Card sucks! Either way, like, also, we've seen the house playing fronts. There's no reason. There's no reason not to, like, leave this column up. Vanguard column first, make the bodies, get the value off the fronts, and go from there. But, yeah. Oh wait, he didn't actually have counterblast to activate Rezel effect. That's the other thing. Yeah, actually, wait. That's the other thing, right, about why making the second Nobia was pointless. He damage denied himself counterblast for the Rezel effect. If he had just made the dog, like, he could have put the dog here, behind this thing. This would have been what? 1621, which is still hitting with a 15k shield to guard. He then would have had counterblast for the Rezel effect, and then been able to replace this column with the default dog again, and then still give this trigger powers. Yeah, a big fumble from Hal here. Will he recover from this? Oh yeah, it is Rezel when it boosts the Rezel effect. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it still doesn't really matter either way. The fact that he didn't use like multiple dogs and then proceeded not to maximize his damage push this turn, I think is the real problem. Like, optimizing numbers is whatever. Also, like, calling Nobia and then not even like using at least one Soul Blast 1 for the Nobia push is like also like, huh? I'm pretty sure he has a Persona right in hand, so like he could afford to have given up the soul easily as well. And he doesn't have Wisdom, so it's not like he's going to be activating Wisdom into T-Fault next turn either. Yeah, no percent. Oh, I thought he did. I thought we saw it. Calling dog behind Van isn't... Yeah, I never said call dog behind Van. I said call dog behind this. Because this wasn't here. This was here. He just calls dog here and then swaps them over. Instead, he's just called a draw trigger off of the Nobia behind Van, which is even worse. If nothing else, dog at least gets rid of itself to make room for the countercharger. What he did earlier in the game? No, I think it's fine on turn 1. I think it's fine on turn 1. Because like you're not banking on Wisdom T-Fault to find you the ideal full board combo. Oh shit, he does have Wisdom. Never mind. Because like, even if you draw, like, worst case scenario, you don't draw Aerial off of the Wisdom and you find it off the T-Fault. Yeah, it's not ideal, but then you just don't call it, and then you try and like find. You hope that you have a T-Fault to find the Aerial later on. Like, I'd rather still get the value off the dog immediately in the early game, just to make it through the early game. I mean, the other mistake as well is he called the dog before activating Wisdom and Teeth-Fault. That's the other issue, right? Like, you always Wisdom Teeth-Fault before you call from hand. So that's a whole separate can of worms. Was it off the Alden right line? Right, sure. Then yeah, in that case you're right. You call it to the side, and then hit the Teeth-Fault, and then Teeth-Fault find the rest from there. I mean, the bottom line is that Hal's has fumbled a lot so far. Sage with not a lot of cards in hand. But it doesn't matter because this is pretty strong. There is a Keel in there, I think. No Keel, okay. So Hal might survive this. I'm wondering if it's correct to just take this, pray for defensives, and deal with the RPDs easily. If you guard this, you definitely don't use a PG. You definitely aren't using a PG here. PGs are exclusively safe for RPDs, I think. Oh, I don't like that. Vanguard's not even boosted. I really don't like that. Yeah, power's the one that doesn't really have the marker. Second trigger, nothing. Forecast in hand, 2 damage. I don't know if Hal wins next turn. I don't think he does. 2 defensives, okay. Imagine being skilled. Heal off the grade 3. There we go. And then this one you just PG as well, probably. Or you use the anti-crit heal. I think you still PG. Does the double? Oh, he's got double defensives. Yes, actually that works. No Persona Ride, but that's fine. Oh, top next Persona Ride. Incredible. I think there's also a legitimate reason to activate Divine Skill here, by the way. Like, I really do. Because you're on 4. Your heals are live, but you're not favored to hit a heal. I'd rather Divine Skill and set up the 6th damage, like, Miracle Heal on the RPD swings. I think that's probably the best line going forward. The Nobby on the board also kind of sucks, but whatever. You've got a T-Fort in hand. I see no reason not to activate Wisdom first. Worst case scenario, like, you Wisdom, draw a crit, call the crit, and then call over the crit to then, like, you know, get the crit back in with the Divine Skill. I think that's also, like, that's a reasonable line. It's not a great line, but it's a reasonable line. Oh yeah, Blast 7 to draw first is also correct. Biscotti first or Order first is, I think, an interesting question to ask here. He doesn't have the energy from Biscotti. He's going to have to counterblast 1 for it. I can think of some scenarios where you counterblast 1 for the Biscotti, and that means that you don't have to play the Order. It just depends on which one you'd rather gamble on. Like, the Order is a straight +1 no matter what, but Biscotti is a controlled +1 with less, like, you have less chance to find the stuff you need, but you have more control over what you find. I think it's a curious one that can be worked out. I just can't bother to work it out right now. You have to, yeah, I think having Teeth in hand means that you definitely want to Order instead. Draws 2 triggers, which is very lame, so Biscotti would have been the correct answer. Unfortunate. I think you slam the Biscotti anyway, just to replace the Nobbia, because it's the better, like... I don't know. Because, like, you're going to Soul Blast 1 for the Rezael effect, so you're not going to be Soul Blasting 1 for Nobbia either. Calls over the Biscotti anyway. Yeah, I don't know. The Nobbia just still feels not right there. Yeah, so correctly using the Divine Skill. It's only 3, but 3 is enough. Like, the important part is that all 8 crits are in the deck. Which is good because there's no heals in the deck. Sorry, not all 8. There's 1 in the damage. So 7 crits in the deck. I actually think there might be 1 heal left. Because I think he guarded with 1 and drew the other 2. There may be 1 heal left. But yeah, that's going to keep him alive going into the RPD swings. Yeah, I think it's fine to leave the dog column for after the drive checks. You just replace the Nobia line with another Teeth Dog, which is definitely in there. Defensive is kind of lame, but that's fine. Still hit. It just means that you really want to hit a trigger here on these drive checks. Oh, I don't... Oh, buddy! Oh, buddy! I don't know about that. Oh. How not spamming the dog is... This is painful. Because, like, you don't need the counter charge behind the Vanguard anymore. Because now that you're playing for the defensive heal, so you're going to have the damage going to the next turn no matter what. I don't think this was correct at all. I really don't. I really want to know what he was thinking here. He's just given up, like, an extra card for no reason. 2 blanks. 3 blanks. That's not good either. This column is then, like... This is what? 28, 38... Yeah, so it's 5k bigger than the Teeth Vault dog column. But again, Sage is only on 3 damage, not 5. Like, 5k bigger doesn't make a difference. Sage was taking this damage, no matter, like, both of these no matter what, going to 5 to deny your heal. So, like, not getting the extra draw really boggles my mind. I think she can afford to take this last one as well. Yeah, like, no pressure. Gets the heal on top anyway. Ugh. See why? I don't. I can stay for damage. Sure, he's got like what, two PGs, double heal, like anti-crit heals. I get it. I just don't like it. Because again, like, when you're on 2 damage, you're under no threat of losing that turn. So Hal needs to be in a position where he's pushing extra damage, which this turn just didn't do. And if he's not pushing extra damage, he needs to be in a way that he can find the opportunities to push that damage now. Because, like, Sage started this turn with, like, what, 4, 5 cards in hand? Like, sorry, ended that turn with 4, 5 cards in hand. And she's now started this turn with, like, 3 or 4 cards in hand. Persona Eye draws an extra 1, but, like, you know, this is now her opportunity to rebuild. Now that Shadowcloak's already on the board, now that she's set up, this is where, like, things get kind of dangerous. Oh, yep, Shadowcloak pulls over the thing. Orbital Miasma. The other RPD. They're all out of deck already. Interesting. No other grade 3s to call. But I think there's already a third RPD in the drop zone, so it's not the end of the world for Sage. And then, yeah. Calls out the PG. Shadowcloak bounces them both. The other RPDs call over themselves. Get the crit. Everything works out. Philander's active as well. I don't know if there's an extra Philander floating around somewhere. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I think there is a Philander in the hand. Philander behind Van would be really cool here, I think. I know losing the Shadow Cloak is rough, but if you're expecting how to live this turn, I'd rather push whatever you can, right? Van's already 38. I mean, yeah, like, it's just a case of, like, you force the PG issue is the main thing. And again, like, Hal having activated Divine Skill, okay, OT comes out, whatever, lol. Hal having activated OT, like, Divine Skill the previous turn, I think you're leaning towards the GG territory anyway, because, like, him activating Divine Skill implies that he's going to want to take some damage. So both RPDs now 3 damage. So that's guard everything territory. You just have to discard the Biscotti. I think you just have to discard Biscotti. Because that's, what? 25, 35, 40, 50, 68? And 2 heals and an intercept will guard that. Oh, he's got another result. Yeah, you just discard the cup. Yeah, that's fine. And he has to burn both heals. Yeah, puts him at 63? No. 53, so he's 10k short, actually. He just takes it, yeah. Yeah, trigger? No trigger, okay. Is it 83? Where's the extra 10 from? 15, 25, 35. Oh, right, the extra front from the OT. Right. Yep. That's what I forgot, yeah. It doesn't work on draws, it only works on crits. He's kind of dead. Yeah. He's very dead. Yeah, so I forgot about the extra front from the OT there. So, okay, so that would have been, so 2 heals makes it 63. Double intercept. Does it work on anything? No. It's only crits, isn't it? Works on a trigger? Okay, so you just have to heal something else, sure. But it's 3 damage again, because say shut the S trigger, so yeah, nothing happens. Unfortunate. It's okay, hang on. So yeah, 20. So 2 heals would have made him 63. Double intercept, well, intercept plus 5k from hand, it's 73, 78. So yeah, he is still 10k short, which is unfortunate. 1, 2, 3. Right, yeah. Yeah, so then he would have had to take it anyway, so he saves his triggers. Again, I think if you're banking on that, I mean, sure, like, crazy drive check of crit, OT crit is, like, gonna do stuff like that. And if he had no guard, he would have died the same way anyway, but I think the point is that, like, PG in the Vanguard was correct. And then I think, like, once you see, like, those triggers come down, you just take the OT column, because, like, they're both 3 damage. If you survive, you survive. You can then PG the last one, doesn't matter. And then you at least save the extra card in hand, like, to try and do something next turn. But yeah, that was... I think not spamming the dog aggressively there was what cost Hal the game, because, like, he missed out on, at least 2 draws that we counted. Maybe even 3. Let's double check there, so calls dog. I think that's fine. Yeah, so I think one of these defaults had the opportunity to see a dog, right? So dog behind Van, teeth. What is Okay. So order. Down comes the Teeth Vault. Soul Blast 1. Okay, so that wasn't an missed opportunity to find a dog. There was another one. Where was it? So discard, ride, draw. I think that's remakes dog off the ride line. Nobia. Okay, here's one missed dog. Absolutely should have Nobia called a second dog instead of calling a second Nobia. Which then denies him the counterblast to reuse a second dog, the second time. So that's 2 missed dogs. And then next turn, what happens next turn? I think it's 3 missed dogs in total, right? Yeah, because he reanimated like Countercharger and Grade 3, but Grade 3 Speed Stick. So he missed out on the 3rd dog. And if he had used, like, even if all 3 dogs had drawn 5k shields, that 15k shield would have been enough for him to survive. Because the 2 heals would have made him 63, intercept for 68, and then 25k shield from hand puts him on 80. Oh, he's 5k short, never mind. So of those 3 draws, if one of them had been a trigger, he would have survived this. Yeah, he would have survived he would have also got the last RPD swing, and then have the crackback, which is... That said, I think... Like, Sage had what? 8 cards? No, a lot more than that, because he... Yeah, bounce PG, bounce Persona Ride, draw from OT, crit, the PG from last turn, plus like 3 other random cards that I don't remember what they were. So that's at least 8 cards, 5 of which are all active guard power. Yeah, he's probably not beating through that. Like, even with the Persona Ride, even if he goes into, like, 5 attacks with, like, the T-Fault Grade 3 guy, that sort of combo, like, Vanguard takes a PG. Do you? Oh, let's have a look. Okay, yeah, here we go. Flip hand. So, yeah, 3 triggers, 2 PGs, 2 orders, and a keel. Oh no, order, Philander, keel. So, you hold on to the Persona Ride, you hold on to the order, you probably pitch keel to PG, which gives you 45, 30, 50... Gives you 60k shield. Which is... So PG goes to the Vanguard column. You take one of the Teeth Vault swings, you got the other Teeth Vault swing with the front. Probably, like, depending on the triggers, you take one of the other rearguard swings on after the Vanguard attack, and then the other 2 triggers guards the last big column, whatever it is. Yeah, you lose only to offensive OT, basically. Alright. We've covered 3 games, and we just had some results come in as well, so let's quickly fill that in. Alright, so we have... So Blaze, Felix, and Isley's game just finished. So where are they? The Blaze, Felix on Rezael takes the win over Isley on Roroa. And oh, we do have a 4th game to watch. All right, let's watch that. Mute this. And then let's switch back to this. And now we've got to do some fiddling. All right. Ho, ho, ho. Nope, I want to edit the border. Thank you. That needs to be a little bit smaller. There we go. And now the other one. That one's okay. Just need to make it a little bit bigger. Alright, there we go. So, on the left we have Nobby CS from Neighborhood Watch, and on the right we've got Works in Progress from the Dino Bozos. Is this Callum? It is. Alright. What are we coping on? Skip ahead a bit. Rajul versus maybe Youth? Maybe Rezael? Okay, Carino, definitely Youth. There we go, turn 1 Carino. That's the Youth perk player we're used to seeing. I don't like putting Tempest in on turn 1. I really don't. Like, as you saw in the previous game, sometimes Youth perk bricks. Therefore, Tempest is your next best Revel dress. I feel like you always want to put in Zest first, right? Unless Zest was in your hand, in which case, Lamau. So Jojo does its thing, discards Horde Slash. Put Tempest to hand and Zest from hand to soul. Oh, right, okay, that's what you did. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, Zest in is fine. Oh, then do you really search the Tempest? Do you not just want to search the Full Blast in that case? Unless you already had a Full Blast, in which case, yeah, sure, whatever. Guards the early swing, which I don't know if I like. Finds Full Blast. If you've got the Witch, slam the Witch. Like, you've already guarded, so it's not like you can be damage denied in any way further. So yeah, you might as well get the deck thinning. Gust goes in. There we go. Opponent probably no guards here. Crit. Good. Defensive. Defensive. Alright. 5k shield. Now this you guard. Come on, buddy. He takes it. Oh, brutal. That's... I don't know. Yeah, being on 3 damage as Youth Boat before turn 3 is... That's not a great position for Jojo to be in. I don't like attacking with Jewel Core here. I think, given how slow you want this game to go, I think you just put it behind Van and swing it rear. Horde Slash. Does this whiff? Did he even shuffle? Doesn't even reveal a grade 4. Can't even draw. Brutal. This is why Horde Slash is the worst card in Rejeweled, folks. Horde Slash is just... I can't, like... I don't want to spend money having to buy Bifrons, but I cannot wait to get rid of Horde Slash. But even then, like, I don't like 2 damage on Vanguard in this position. Because like now that you've hit with this column, you've given your opponent the opportunity to go intercept with the grade 2 and then counterblast to get the grade 2 back. Like, obviously he'll be damage denying himself, like he won't have counterblast for full blast, but it's just... I don't know, like... I just don't like this line at all. Like, there's even a... Actually, wait. No, we saw Callum use a Biscotti. Like, he just no guards this, takes an extra damage, counterblast wanted to add back the Biscotti, and then discards it, and it just goes again. Like, this is such high value. Like, this is why the rushing is not... I don't like rushing Youth Back. Yeah, the trigger doesn't break through. You get the heal, which is nice, but... It's not ideal, man. It's not ideal. Because, like, if you're going to rush your opponent, I would at least have gone Vanguard first. Because you want the soul charge. You definitely want that soul charge. So once you get the Soul Charge, you can then swing the rear guard at the other rear guard. And that leaves your options open. Ditch Tempest. Drilling Angel, maybe? Nope, just another Witch. Other Tempest in. Full Blast is live. This is the other reason I would have considered like attacking the rear guard. Because now you have to deal with another big attack. Like, sure, maybe Nobby already had a piece in hand to commit to make the board anyway. But this is such a difficult thing to live through.
No, this is fine.
Oh, I unmuted. Don't want to do that. Yeah, it's fine for you. No Sequana is probably his works in progress's only real saving grace here. Crit is terrifying. You would not have broken the 2 to pass, okay? Full Blast comes down, Counter Blast 1. Rule 3, so now this one you know God, I think. Just go to 4, hope you get some defensives, and then spam your Counter Blast on other effects. Because like, you want to Counter Blast 1, so going into turn 3, as Drajord, you have to assume the worst, and assume that you're going to be dealing with another Full Blast turn. So you're going to try and spend your Counter Blast to get as much plus as you can, which in this case is going to be Counter Blast 1 for Drajord Grade 3 effect, Counter Blast 1 for Nocturgio effect, Counter Blast 1 for Rockagore effect, and maybe even Counter Blast 1 for another Horde Slash. Like, you're just kind of have to hope that you hit all of that like gas going to the next turn. That's the only way you're surviving. Because checking a trigger means that Youthbuck has actually found a shield value, which is going to be a bit rough. I don't know if I like the PG there. I get why, but I think it would have been fine to just take some damage and go up. If you want to take anything else, take this one. And then somehow guard this one, which is what? 15, 25, 40k? Without a defensive, that's 35k shield, which you just... That's 2 triggers, bro. Yeah, I don't like... Hits no defensive anyway. Alright, well... This is a landslide game and a half. Do you have double Nocturgio to recover? Pictures Almathis, which... Yeah, I guess it's okay. Soul Charge 1, draw. Do you have Nocturgio? You need Nocturgio here. You're going to activate Drajord first. Which I don't hate, but I would have counterblasted the Ignis first, at least. So that if you heal it off, you have a Grade 4 to shove back into Soul from drop. It's Energy Blast 2 to draw, I'm guessing. And then Nocturgio? Surely, right? Surely. Oh god, he's not going to spend any of his counterblast, is he? Empusa, I like that option. Vapula, okay. They clash a little bit. Do you have the Rockagore? You PG'd with it. That means you have a second one, right? Oh god, he doesn't have it. Oh, he doesn't have a Rockagore or a Noctalzio. This is not going to end well. Didn't even use Drajor's effect, which I... I mean, it didn't matter, but I would strongly have considered it in this situation. Because, like, now Impusa doesn't even go off. You don't even get to add anything back to hand to guard with. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, sure, you assumed you had a CC, you don't, so now you can't actually, like... Now you can't actually do any of your, like, full blast effects. I don't think it matters, like, you're in such a commandeering position here. And besides, you have outs, like, the critical out here, right, is you've discarded Drilling Angel to top 3, which I think is incorrect. I would have discarded a Trigger, because you're digging for Corono. Because worst case scenario now, you can, like, call the Drilling Angel from hand, shove the Corono from drop into Soul, find the Corono off the top X, or if you get lucky, top 5, and then search for the Gust, and the Gust would still have gotten there. Like, the Gust or Zest would still have put on immense pressure this turn. Oh, you only run one of each? That's a you problem, buddy. That's a you problem. I mean, in that case, there's an argument as well to... Let me pause again. There's an argument to digging for the grade 2 Witch first, to Soul Blast the Gust, the blue one, and like try to high roll to add the blue one back. That was the other option. Because like without Sequana, there's actually 0 point in Revel dressing. Like your opponent gives you a 2 to pass anyway, which you don't break. No, it's not even 20k. Viscosity at rear, yeah. And then 25? No, 20, because you don't have the plus 5k. Like, your opponent survives this, and now they ride grade 4. But it, like... Ignoring whether or not you could have won the game this turn, you're on 1 damage, they're on 5. Even if they ride Ignis and go full combo, you're probably not dying, right? There's the Ignis ride. Do we find... There's Rystal Gala, which I hate that card. I think the card sucks. Do they find Rokogor? Twin Marvel? I really like Twin Marvel. They still don't find a second attacker. Jesus. Jesus. So he has to use the grade 3 Jeweled as the grade 4. Buddy? Buddy, there's a Vapula on your board? Huh? Huh? Why did he attack with this column first? My guy. They had no other grade 3s? Oh, right, they don't. So they can't even use Jewel's effect. Holy shit. Oh, wow. Don't even get to use... Okay, so... I don't know what his hand was, but if you have no other grade 3s, you could call over the Rystal Gala and shove it in. Like, setting your opponent to 0 and getting the crit is worth way more than anything else. It's definitely worth a neg 1 from hand. 2 triggers, but I don't think it makes a difference. Because, like, you no guarded, goes up to 3. No defensive. But then you can just still take this last attack and go to 4 and, like, still be, like, totally in the game. Yeah, like, this doesn't do anything. This is beyond vanilla. You just take this, right? No, you just take this. No Persona Ride still. Sequana finally comes down. Energy Blast 7 to draw. And then ditch 1 to top 3. Yep. Were there no other boosters to make? I feel like any booster would have been better here. $23. How does he guard this? 2 to pass? 28, 38. No, that's a vanilla draw. Holy shit. 33, so that's 1 to pass. Oh my goodness. Do you break it? No break. He goes Biscotti. I would have called the Biscotti, bro. I would have called the Biscotti. Check your top X. Guarantee your triggers. You have the Counter Blast to spare. The extra 5k, like, pretty rare. Like, did you even Soul Blast to draw off of that Witch? Because if not, then it was totally worthless. No, you don't bot deck the Rice or Gala. You bot deck the Vapula. And then this he has to PG or he dies, basically. PG. Whoa, 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 whoa. Buddy plays 2 Ristal Gala? Oh, my guy, come on. Wow, OT, just to really drive the nail in the coffin. The most unnecessary OT ever. I don't think bro even has a second PG, like, for the other column regardless. Yeah, he's got 2 cards in hand, there's no way. Now, do you pull a Sam? Do you attack in the right order? Doesn't matter. Please attack with the right rearguard first. Please. Please don't do a Sam. Please make the right attack. No! He made the wrong attack! He's playing... Check DMs. How important is this? Alright, I'll do it in a bit. But yeah, the opponent just doesn't have the... He didn't hit the OT, didn't hit the out. Game ends. Man, that was definitely a rough game to watch. Like... Yeah, like... Because the thing is, like, if he hits defensive OT on this swing, he just has to draw any trigger to be able to guard this attack. Like, huh? It's fine. You didn't get punished for it this one time, but yeah. Alright, so... Nope. That's the right thing. So, one more thing to show off before we call it a night. Oh, we have another result, it looks like. Yep, let's quickly put this result in first. We've got Nick Hu versus Burai. Where's Nick Hu? Nicholas Hu. Snake beats Varga! Yo! Nick Hu playing Megalonazuchi. Snake Gaming! Alright. So, in 2018? No, 2019. No, yeah, 2018. No, fuck, it was 2019, wasn't it? When was... When did Busted come out? Universe Ace Busted was 2019, okay. In 2019, Universe Ace Busted was released. And obviously, it's one of the best Nova Grappler cards ever printed. So, people tried to find ways to make Busted as crazy as possible. And what we found was that getting loads and loads of stand effects was the easy part. Getting loads and loads of soul was the hard part. So what Nova Grappler cards could we play to generate us shit tons of soul? We stumbled across the V Shout, V Screaming Dancing. Let me bring up the card. So this asshole. Oh, I'm big that. Okay. This asshole might be the second best card in Nova Grappler. Unironically, the second best card in Nova Grappler. So you rest it, you and your opponent clash, the higher grade goes to hand, the lower grade goes into soul. If the grades are tied, you both draw. Now, the reason this card is broken is because no matter what happens, you're winning. Like, if you reveal the higher grade, you draw a card. If you reveal a lower grade, you get to soul charge one. Sure, it comes with the slight drawback of your opponent drawing a card, but if you're soul charging, it means that your opponent's card had a higher grade than your card, which means it has less shield value. So they're not drawing triggers, which is, oh. And the only bad time is when you both reveal grade zeros, because you both draw triggers, which you don't want. Because then you're drawing a card that you don't want on the board, you're not getting soul, and your opponent's added shield to their hand. That's the only time this didn't work out. Because the other critical thing to remember, dear viewer, is that when this card was released, Heal Guardians did not exist yet. So there were no grade 3 heals for you to add to your opponent's hand. Heals were always grade 0, that they would always go into soul, unless you both revealed a grade 0. So, this card, all 3 outcomes were good for this deck. So you would use Shout to generate shit tons of soul in the early game. You would get to like 8 or 9 soul, and then you would hit them with your 12 drive busted. And then you would hit them with your 7 drive busted. And then you would hit them with your 2 drive busted. And that was usually enough to win games back then. And it devolved into a point where Japan came up with what's called Nova LO, which stands for Library Out, which is basically Shout Mill. So, shortly after early 2020 was when we got the V ethics bust. So this is when we got like clan collections, about some other V support. And that's when Nova Grappler went from battle phase restand to main phase restand. So we got a fun little card called Scarlet Bird. So Scarlet Bird is, when placed during the main phase, stand all of your units. The rest of the text doesn't matter. The rest of the text is a bonus. But basically, you would stand all of your shouts. And because you had like 2 to 3 shouts on the board, chances were at least one of them gave you the soul you needed to use Scarlet Bird. You see where we're going with this? So you would shout, 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 Scarlet Bird, shout, 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 Scarlet Bird, shout, 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 and your opponent would deck out. Why do they use Library Out? So all Magic the Gathering was the first card game. It preceded Yu-Gi-Oh! It preceded Pokemon. Like, Magic was the TCG. So when other card games started coming up with like terminology and jargon, they obviously refer to Magic the Gathering. And as you know, in Magic, your deck is called your library. So rather than being deck out, it's library out. And because like at the time, even though Japan has a really good ecosystem for trading card games, when it came to like content, information, strategy, all of these things, Japan like drew from the West really, really heavily. So like, any Western terms like Magic the Gathering terms just became the default. Like another good example is if we go to the Japanese, let's look at the Japanese Duel Masters. If we search for like Duel Masters plays, right? So we look at like all the top decks, right? Okay, they switched to being civilization names, but like the All Division? No. So do they not change? Do they change the names again? Okay, they changed the names, but basically Actually, it might be on the Duel Masters wiki. Let me have a look. Super Solenoid. Have a look at Super Solenoid. We have a deck ranking here. Duel Masters. Okay, so Duel Masters have changed to using like colors, but during the early Duel Masters days, instead of calling it like blue white aggro or red black mid range or whatever, they would actually like use the Magic the Gathering color names. So, what's it called? Like, nope, that's not MTG rack. Yeah, so like Anna, Seta, and this Dega, Neka, Raka, like these were the original like wedge colors. So if I show you like, you know, Rakavolver. So Rakavolver is a card that uses red, white, and blue. So instead of calling it Jeskai, they would call it Raka. So a blue, red, white deck was called like, you know, Raka midrange or Raka combo or Raka whatever like the key card is. And it wasn't even Grixis. Like this was before Grixis existed. So blue, red, black was actually called Crosis because of Crosis the Purger. So this was the original blue, red, black color combo. So like Duel Masters, I think Duel Masters was like one of the first games to like have this sort of like color theme like Magic did. And then by the time other games like Weiss Schwarz introduced colors, like terminology had evolved to the point where you just use colors instead of names. But early Duel Masters, like, because Duel Masters is quite old. Duel Masters is like 2004, 2003 ballpark, like, which is around when these cards, you know, these cards existed, which means that it was around at the time where Magic terminology would have been fresh enough for the Japanese players to be like, okay, like, you know, Western players are calling it this, we'll call it this as well. So yeah, that's where all Magic terminology comes from. Like, again, that's also where Scry comes from. Like, Scry, Cantrip, you know, they've all come from like these sorts of like odd resources. But yeah, anyway, back to the original point. Scarlet came out, made Shout even stronger than it already was, and then people realized you could just deck your opponent out by just spamming Shout over and over again. So that devolved to a point where people just played, instead of actually like playing a game where you just shout your opponent to death, we just shortcut it. We just went, okay, let's just shout until one of us dies. Now, of course, if you're both using Shout to like take a card off the top of the deck at the same time, the way the Nova Grappler deck out deck works is that while you used Shout, at some point you would also ride the Legion, and then Legion shit back into your deck so that you're the one not decking out. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but it was definitely doable. And it involved you high rolling a little bit, but it was doable. You would win in your main phase, basically. So, obviously it would be unfair for a Shout Mirror to have, no, the Shout Mirror is basically whoever went second won. Because if you went second, you got to Legion first, and if you got to Legion first, that means you're the one not decking out. Simple as. But yeah, we realized that, you know, like, activating Shout was kind of fun, because no matter what happened, like, someone win, like, you win. So yeah, we just, one thing led to another, and then we just shortcut the steps to the point where it's just, you know, let's just both activate Shout until we deck out. But then we needed a new win condition, which was, let's just say whoever has more cards in hand wins. Like, whoever's luckier, as it were. And that devolved into a straight up thing called Shout format, where both players shuffle their decks, and then resolve an invisible Shout over and over and over again. And then once both players deck out, whoever has the more cards in hand wins the game. So this is a Shout mirror, as you're about to watch. And there is actually, like, there's mathematical statistical analysis you can do about Shout games. Like, if you know, write down, like, how many cards of each grade are in your deck, you can absolutely, like, compare that. So if both players write out the number of cards per grade in their decks, you can actually statistically analyze who's more likely to win a game of Shout format. So yeah, that is shout format. Arguably the best way to play Vanguard. Arguably. And yeah, so this is some of the silliness that has appeared as a result of VPL. You have learned about culture. You have go forth and spread shout format at your locals. In fact, I would go as far as to say, for VPL and VPL only, I would approve of using shout format as a way to determine who goes first or second. I've confirmed that. They're facing off on camera in a few weeks. So wait, what team is Ben on? I know Andre is on Shiny Carbon Addiction. I think Ben is on Mash's team? No. Hall. Oh no, he's on Steve's team. Right. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for SCO versus DBZ. Next week! And I'm off work next week, so I will be around to record that. Let's go! Let's go! Alright. Any more results? Nope, no more results, but we've got Gurgit and Ali playing just as we speak. I don't want to jump into their game and dump stream on them while they're in the middle of playing, so yeah, I think we'll just call it a day for now. Yeah, I think we'll just call it a day for now. That's it. Nothing. Gentle week this week. Hopefully there'll be a bit more to highlight in the coming week. And I'm off on Tuesday. So who knows? Maybe if there's games being played. Oh right, yeah, deck list. Right. Good shout. I almost forgot. Gwen has very coolly put us together a win rates spreadsheet data. So tracking the number of games being played each week and seeing who won, and then using that to determine win rates. So Willista, Vergilla, Viamance, Triumph. So these are the decks that haven't been played yet. Decks that haven't played. So we've got 14 Wellstras, and only 4 out of 14 Wellstra games have ended in a win. 5 out of 14 VAR games have ended in a win. So these two are the fakest decks in the world. Zorga, meanwhile, with the highest win rate of the non-one-of decks, followed closely by Shiranui, Morphonica, and Java, surprisingly. Although I guess one of them was a mirror, so I'm not sure if it really counts. Did we count the Java mirror? Yeah, we didn't count the Java mirror, so... So if you ignore the Java mirror, technically, Java also has a 100% win rate. Technically. Yeah, it counts as 1 win, 1 loss. So here's the Java mirror here. So where's the other Java block? Yeah, so Java beat Wellstra. So technically Java also has a 100% win rate if you remove mirrors. But yeah, this is a really cool piece of data. If you want to look at the data now, it is available on the Discord, which I still haven't set up a thing for. I should do that. In the meantime, if for whatever reason you are watching this and you are not already in the VPL Discord server, here is I'll put the link in Twitch chat, and I'll also put the link in the YouTube description once that gets uploaded. Yeah, so links in the Twitch chat. I will add the link to the YouTube description. But yeah, you can join this if you want to see the spreadsheet as it is now. But once the season finishes, I will be tweaking this and publishing this. I'll send it off to Fuzzy as well so that he can do whatever he wants with all this crazy amount of data. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Really, really cool thing from Gwen. Awesome there. So thank you for him for maintaining this. But yeah, so we're going to call it a day there. Nice short one. Like I said, I'm off on Tuesday, so if any games are being played on Tuesday evening, I will look at doing a live stream then of some games. We might recap a few things, might highlight some other stuff. But until then, yeah, as always, all the social stuff, stick around. And we will see you next Sunday for the end of week 3 wrap-up. Until then, have a great evening. Let's see if anyone's I know is streaming. Is anyone doing Vanguard? I have a feeling it's going to be no one again. Yep, no one is streaming Vanguard, so we're going to call it a night. Have a good evening, folks.